everyone! I am the YouTuber with a name that begins with an H.
Fair enough. I am friends with that person.
Today we're doing another Jake Reads Your Comments. Jake has gone...
Hold on, are you gonna fucking leave a trail for them and, like, lead them along until the next Ask Hugo? Or they ask H now, because now it's just H. No, please do it. Because, oh my god, that's great.
One person did correctly guess based on the thing that I said before. You know what I mean? Remember, I was like, there are hints, and one person was like, was this a hint, and is this the name? And they were spot on. There are about 100 other people that were wrong, though.
Nice. So. Okay, so it's, if you guys remember last year, the Pumpkin Watch, Name Watch 2019.
All right.
I love it so much.
So Jake has taken the time to meticulously pick out. He like a day laborer in an apple orchard.
Oh yeah. They care very greatly about each and every apple, and are by no means wage slaves being exploited for their hard-earned.
They're working for the American dream. Shut your mouth. Shut your fucking mouth.
Okay.
He has meticulously picked the best comments for your
I've plucked them from the veritable ether.
And for your viewing pleasure. So let's go ahead and read these, I guess.
These are all from Discord, by the way. Join the Discord.
Link in the description. Weed Daddy off to a great start. Very classy.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I agree with Jake. The tacos Hugo makes are more Mexican than Taco Bell, even when she uses craft singles. The algebra is simple. I'm more Mexican than Taco Bell, and those tacos are as Mexican as me.
I mean, this is honestly, this is unrefutable, and if you disagree, I think you're obviously a deep-seated KKK member.
What?
Yeah, that's how it works.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
The context for this, by the way, was, I guess that matters. We were talking about Taco Bell, and I was like, Taco Bell's tacos are more Mexican than the tacos I make, because occasionally, not always, not even most of the time, I usually use, you know, Mexican shredded cheese for what it's worth that comes in a...
Mexican shredded cheese.
That's what it
from
says.
Sargento.
That's what it says on the fucking bag.
I know.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do.
I'm not gonna go to Mexico and be like, your finest queso, please.
You could get Chihuahua queso, Cotija queso, queso fresco, all available in our American stores.
Anyway, sometimes
also delicious.
I make tacos with American cheese, and I
like literally craft singles.
Literally craft singles, and I know it's not right, but the
Do
white...
you put ketchup on it?
No, but the white person in me is like, this feels right. This feels right.
If you put ketchup on it, I might agree with you.
I was a picky eater as a kid, so I was dumb, and I was like, I don't want other kinds of cheese.
I don't want any cheese at all. I would like this vegetable oil glob. Now, that's not to say, Kraft Singles American cheese, fuck me up with a grilled cheese made of that with some tomato soup. Oh yeah. I
got some bread that looks like it's gonna be really good for grilled cheese, actually.
You're a good grilled cheese maker. It's like your strongest cooking point, which some may go, that's what a rube. There's a little bit of a science behind making a delightful grilled cheese, not just any old grilled cheese.
The bread is called Italian Texas toast, which I feel like is a little...
that's...
Yeah.
No, that's all over the map.
It's just Italian bread that's real thick cut.
Like literally the map.
Thick cut bread. I like my bread thick.
With 2 C's or?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
All right.
Makes a good snack.
That's probably enough for the
taco. We got very sexual. Weird.
Rat King. Dear Hugo.
Wait. Weed Daddy and Rat King. I think they hang out?
No.
Okay.
Kings don't hang out with daddies. They're too far above them. Rat King. Dear Hugo and Jake, I met my boyfriend in a monster fucker's Fury Discord server.
Furry Discord.
Sorry.
Very different Discords.
In a monster fucker's furry Discord server. So far, when they ask how we met, I just answer online and people drop it. But one day, someone's going to ask for more information, and the idea of that day fills me with fear. More fear than hanging out in a furry Discord? That's shocking to me. I don't mean to. I'm not shitting on furries. But do what makes you happy, people. What are some better things that I can tell people? Because the truth is, we met talking about werewolf dong. I don't think Grandma would like that.
All right, here's my advice. 100% be honest. Are you kidding me? What an amazing How We Met story. By the way, we both want to fuck werewolves, and everyone's gonna go, ha ha ha, and you're gonna go,
Look him dead in the eye.
no, really. Don't be ashamed. Okay, so
I think you should look him in the eye
Yeah.
until they flinch. Don't say a word until they speak first.
Yeah.
Assert your werewolf dominance over them.
yeah, you know the first thing they're gonna ask isn't like, is this a joke? It's gonna be, how big are werewolf dicks? Anyway, so the real thing.
I don't think it's the size. I think it's the musk.
The musk?
Yes.
Because, okay. Of the dick?
Yes.
The dick musk. The werewolf dick musk.
Yes.
I wish this was 2009 so I could title this video that and still make money.
I remember those days. That was fun.
Remember making a living?
No.
Anyway.
I remember making money.
Yeah, fair. So, my advice to anyone, regardless, is whatever the thing is that you fucking like, okay, as long as it's not hurting anybody else, and I don't think fucking monsters or dressing up in fursuits hurts anybody. Be honest. You don't have to be embarrassed about that shit. Fuck those people. If someone's like, I don't know, like, kick them out of your life. Kick them the fuck out of your life because they're pieces of shit. And you deserve the best goddamn experience this life has to offer. And you deserve people that support you, goddammit.
Also, maybe Grandma has fetishes that she doesn't know are out there to explore.
Yeah.
Maybe you'll awaken some sort of werewolf craving in her that she's been hiding since she was but a wee lass.
Because she's trans. Trans grandma.
Transma.
See? If you have a trans grandma, you already have a super inclusive family. They're not going to kick you out because you're a monster fucker. Come on. Anyway, so
this episode's going off the rails and we're only on number 2. Jeez.
Well, anyway. You suck those werewolf dicks, goddammit. Or you fuck them, or whatever you do with them. Look at them. I don't know what you guys get up to. Just do it. And do it with pride, goddammit. And do it to the best of your goddamn ability. I believe in you, and you're valid.
Novia, dear Hugo and Jake, what's the in Minecraft thing about?
Okay, so this started...
It's a meme. Sort of.
It is a meme. So Twitch, specifically, I believe this started on Twitch, although I wouldn't be surprised if it also started on just, like, Twitter or any other service that has, like, moderation in general. Basically, if I say, like, oh, I want to die, right? Or I want a KYS. You know what I mean? Like, KYS. That can be against terms of service for a lot of places. So if I say I want a KYS in Minecraft, now you're talking about dying in a video game, and that's okay. And literally it works. It literally works. Now it's probably not going to work forever down the road, but now it's now it's kind of just like
it's a meme.
It's a meme to be put in place to sort of mock the maybe TOS that you don't necessarily agree with. Like, I'm going to show my boobies in Minecraft. Like, you know. I mean, there's some stuff I don't think you should tell people to kill themselves, obviously.
Yeah.
Which I do think is TOS, and I think that's reasonable. But saying something colloquially like, this makes me want to die, clearly you're not, like, reaching out for help, and it's a silly TOS thing. So, yeah, that's what it is. It's fuck the system, but lamer. More lame.
John the Redbeard. Dear Hugo, apologies if you've announced your new name by the time you read this. I haven't yet.
But put a little nugget out there for everyone to feed on voraciously.
2 syllables.
Oh God.
And Jake, if you were furries, oh boy, is this the furry episode?
No,
accidentally?
I think this is where it ends.
Okay. If you were furries, what species would your personas be? I ask purely out of curiosity and definitely not because I'm planning a piece of fan art.
That's why I picked it. I was gonna be like skip, but then they're like fan art, and now I have no idea what this is gonna entail, and I must see it. So,
can I be a dung beetle because I live in filth?
A dung beetle. Does it have to be an animal to be a furry?
You mean a mammal?
No, an animal.
Well,
in general,
dung beetles are animals.
No, I know. Do you like? Can I pick an animal? Can I be like a stapler?
I'll be a mole.
Like a mole or a digging mole?
Like a digging mole.
Okay. I'm assuming furries don't incorporate like a robot isn't a furry. They're a techie or mechie or some shit.
I feel like definitely not a fox though, because I feel like being a fox
That's
is like
too basic, bitch
it's
shit.
like putting in your dating profile. I just love to travel and
Yeah.
watch The
No, no,
Office.
no,
Like
no.
we know everyone likes to travel and watch The Office.
Being a fox, a wolf, a red panda, anything like a bear, and being a furry is the equivalent of saying like, I just like to have fun on your dating profile. Like, oh really? You're a human being? Thanks. Oh, you're a regular basic furry? Cool. You know what I want to be? A fucking octopus.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
You get a really cool fursuit with like animatronic arms.
Yeah.
Bloop, 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 bloop.
Like literally Dr. Octopus, but with dildos on the end.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna fuck. That's what it would sound like. Or a squid, same concept. Beak. Do squids have beaks?
I think you should definitely go with squid so you can have an ink pouch when you're in danger.
I think they both have ink pouches, but octopi can be chameleon-like. They can blend in with the background. So I could be like, it could be really interesting in the bedroom, and I could hide in the corner, and then my partner wouldn't know, because I assume it wouldn't be Sarah at that point. Whoever this person that deals with octopus furry me,
Okay.
right? And I could be hiding, and I'd be like, ha ha, here I am, and then we would go.
All right, everyone, look for our booth at Rainforest 2020.
Is that a thing? That sounds like a thing.
It is a thing.
Oh, nice.
Frenic31, dear Bicon and Het.
Yeah.
Yeah. How's it feel to be a minority as a white straight man?
Feels fine.
Okay, great.
I've been tokenized on my stream on Twitch for ages, and unknowingly to me on here for ages, and you know what? It was nice having you, Privilege.
You mentioned before that you were mostly settled on a new name. Oh, this is about me. But wanted to be 100% sure before you went public with it. I was just wondering what kind of thought went into picking a new name for yourself. I'm terrible at naming things. I got my Twitter handle Discord name from a random item in Breath of the Wild because I couldn't make up my mind. And I can't fathom actually making a new name for something as important as myself.
That's a good question that I was going to skip and save for you, but damn it, it's interesting.
Yeah, sure. This is going to vary from person to person, as you might imagine, but basically I thought about myself and how I see myself and what name might be attributable to that and I could be comfortable with, and I thought about people calling me that as like an identifier. I thought about, for instance, I looked up like popular girl names the year I was born, because you don't want a name that's, I mean, you can do whatever you want, but
You don't want to be named Magenta.
Right. I want to make sure it's a name that
How
has...
awkward would it have been if you chose Magenta?
No, I want to make sure that I have like a name that
Reflects you.
that would have made sense
Yeah.
for someone my age if they were, you know, assigned female at birth.
Sure.
You know what I mean? The year I was born. So that's what I looked at, and I think the name I picked is in like the top 10.
Sure.
I guess that's another.
There you go.
technically.
Top 10. It depends on what search engine you use, I suppose.
Fair enough.
But there you go. So that makes sense. I like the idea of it. There's sort of a very specific thing that not a lot of people get to do, and that is choose a name that you feel is it embodies you on even a more personal level than someone who's just always had their name, right?
Yeah.
Like I'm Jake, but like my connection to that name is like I don't give a shit really. You know what I mean? It's like kind of meaningless to me. And having a gender confirming name and sort of a I don't know if it gives you gender euphoria maybe for that, but I don't know, maybe talk on the feeling on that, because I mean for most people in general, I feel like it's probably not a very significant thing. They don't really think about it.
I don't know. For me, it's more, and again, this varies from person to person. For some people, being called by their dead name is incredibly troubling, and they don't like it. It makes them feel really dysphoric. For me, it's not. What matters to me personally is more like you knowing, and like Sarah and all the other friends and my mom and whoever who is like someone who's important to me in my life, knowing that this is what I am doing and being okay with me expressing that. Like,
Right.
as long as that's in place, I'm okay. Like, I can make jokes about like, aha, Hugo, da da da. and
To
I
be
don't
fair,
really
that's
care.
not your dead name.
Sure,
But
sure.
I guess it's connected to that time.
But even if it was my real legal name
Right.
for whatever reason, it wouldn't bother me particularly. Again, that doesn't mean you should dead name people or joke about people's dead names because
it irritates me.
it bothers a lot of people who are trans. It doesn't happen to bother me particularly. But
this
that's
happens to trans people constantly. As a meaning, I think the big part about it is like it's usually people not doing it unintentionally. It's usually people intentionally doing it.
Ben Shapiroing.
Oh yeah, and like it's not even necessarily because I think most trans people have dealt with a certain level, especially last generation and the generation before and so on, have dealt with enough abuses to where it's probably dysphoric, but it's like, oh, another one of these. It's like another attack helicopter meme bullshit, right? Where it's like, ha ha ha, yeah, you're a fucking idiot. But like, it's for me, not being dysphoric and not affecting me specifically, when I see it, it's very clearly, and I'm assuming this is how a lot of people feel, it's them like literally trying to steal the validity of your identity.
Yeah.
And it's like why would you do that to anybody? Like
If someone was doing that intentionally to me and I knew they were doing it intentionally, it would bother me.
yeah.
But that's more about the intention of what they're doing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't think, and I think this goes into the broader conversation of misgendering and all the stuff that goes along with, specifically during transition usually, all the stuff people face. I think it's reasonable to expect people to get it fucking wrong. I also think it's reasonable to expect them, once they're corrected, to get it right. And I think it's okay. Like, there's a lot of people out there that have this myth about transness or non-binary people or whatever, that if you get their pronoun wrong up front, they're just going to lose their fucking minds. I've never met this person.
Sure.
Even the "It's Ma'am" meme that went around,
Yeah.
who, by the way, she was clearly having a bad fucking day and at GameStop, like, which does not help. They misgendered her several times in the video.
Yeah.
Like, dude, it's not okay. So, if you're someone that thinks it might be okay to dead name people, I know people do it with, like, Riley Dennis, for instance. Don't even do it to someone like Blair White. I don't know her dead name. I don't want to know it. But like even someone that we clearly disagree with, that's, I think, harmful to the trans community. Say what you will about that. Like, it's not a thing. Like, their identities aren't, like, commodified.
Yeah. You don't get to decide who is worthy and not worthy of being identified by what they identify. Oh boy. Spoopy Ghosto, she, her.
Good question.
If given the choice of fucking one of the doctors, who would you fuck?
Doctors from Doctor Who, specifically, not from, like, the talk show The Doctors. I mean, technically, I personally only have one choice because I don't like peens. However, slap a Vagoo, like a magic Doctor Who Vagoo, on Capaldi, and it would be an honor because he's so talented. Obviously, I'm most obviously sexually attracted to the most recent one. And she is attractive, by the way. I do actually think she's attractive.
Sure.
I also understand the Tennant love, and I understand the Matt Smith love.
8 or 10, which would be McGann or...
I understand McGann, but I do not... Whoa, no, never mind. You skipped 9. No, I understand that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or Tennant.
So McGann or Tennant?
Yeah, I like Matt Smith. Matt Smith as an actual, like, person in real life is, like, I think, unconventionally attractive guy.
Yeah.
And I like him. But, like, the 11th Doctor, and we are talking about the Doctors, the character, he's too, like, he acts like a 12-year-old, and that is not attractive as far as, like, that sort of thing is concerned. Fun person to hang out with, not fun to fuck. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I get that. McGann makes sense. Especially McGann in those shorts leading up to the 50th anniversary.
He's very
older. Older
He's...
McGann is a good-looking dude, so I get it. Yeah, I mean, if I'm not joking around, I have to pick the most recent one. Sure. Because it's the only one that applies. But if I can pick any cast member from Doctor Who, it's got to be her.
Oh, God damn it!
You know who?
Stephen fucking Moffat got in your head,
No. Wait,
no?
maybe. Well, he was there for both.
Are you saying Clara?
No! The
Oh.
other one.
Bill?
Karen Gillan.
Oh. Oh, that
Bill?
makes... I was going to say, she's
a
a
lesbian. No.
Okay.
No, Amy.
Karen Gillan.
Amy Pond is hot.
Yeah, she is.
She's kind of a bitch, but she's like an asshole.
Rory, I know you waited...
She's an asshole to Rory the whole time.
Rory, I know you waited 2,000 years
know.
for me as a Roman soldier. However, I've been in this facility for 20 years, and I am very upset.
Okay, literally the first episode in that cop uniform. Come on. Come on. Can't not be attracted to that. I'm only a man. I'm only human.
All right, then. Nimix, dear Hugo and Jakes. Nimnix, sorry.
You ruined it.
What is it like watching your old content? Is it difficult or cringeworthy? Also, what size shirts do you wear? Don't get me started on women's size and t-shirts. I always have to ask if my clients want men's or women's t-shirts.
Some of the content's definitely cringeworthy. We talked about it recently. We definitely said...
I don't watch like any of our... anything past 2 years, unless it's maybe a movie review, I don't watch. Because I know, especially early on, I was a shitty edgelord teenager.
Yeah, and that's okay. I think it's interesting to kind of see the growth and kind of say, like, we're sort of getting away from, like, you know, that edgy, superfluous bullshit. And it's more just like, you know, bands and shit, which is fine. And so I guess some of it's cringeworthy for that reason. Some of it from just a content quality perspective, specifically the first like 10 episodes or something I really don't like.
Yeah.
I like what came from it. Not a huge fan of some of the content in general. Not a huge fan of some of the jokes we've told in the past. Like there's some scenarios where we some people try to gotcha me specifically over this, and probably you as well. I don't know. You don't spend as much time on the social media, but we did talk about the N-word like 4 or 5 years ago, and we used the word in context. Obviously, today I would self-censor. Yeah. I don't think it was wrong necessarily from it wasn't pointed at anyone. I think it's wrong to use a word when you don't need to use it.
Yeah,
does that make sense?
I do, and I can explain why at the time. I think even the context of it was me explaining something stupid like, oh, if you be an adult, if you're talking about the N-word, just say the N-word, and then I said the N-word.
It was more, I watched it recently. In context, it wasn't like just say it if that's what you mean. It was more like, it's not harmful to someone if you're like reading a thing and they use a word or something like that. And while I tend to agree, I do think contextually speaking, like I personally I self-censor forever in the future.
Yeah, I was taking too much cue from like, I don't know. I was just on the page of more reactionary people where I was like,
yeah,
if you're just saying the N-word, you're just thinking about what the word is anyway. So, but the entire point is that when you self-censor and say the N-word itself as a phrase, it's a recognition that that word is so harmful and was used for so long to hurt people and still continues to be. It's not for me to say it. It's just not helpful.
Yeah, and I agree. And I think we've grown on this issue in general. I don't think like for instance, if if you're sitting at home and you're reading Huckleberry Finn and you read the word, like, you're not a bad person, right? Like
that's part of the story,
right? Or 12 Years a Slave, or something like Hateful Eight, and like something where there's clearly like there's a story to tell and it's a piece of art or something. Or if you're an actor in one of these things, I don't think it's wrong when someone pretends to be a racist in a movie, like Brad Pitt was. I think like people get panned for this kind of shit. I don't think specific context. I don't think it's good. If you're having like a scholarly discussion on race relations and it comes up in a thing you're reading about like in maybe an article because they use the word in like literal public publications and you're reading it out loud to kind of teach students like, hey, this is what people fucking said. I'm fine with that kind of stuff. But superfluously, obviously it's not for, and not just the N-word, like there's lots of stuff that like the F slur, the T slur, just trying to get like stuff like autistic as a pejorative out of your lexicon, I think is important. You know, trying to make sure that like I don't think, for instance, this is again, I think we might have even been talking about like Steve Shives at the time, who changed from 5 stupid things to something else. See, I think that's too far. I think stupid's fine. I understand, like, calling someone stupid who maybe has like learning disabilities is obviously fucked up and ableist. But just using the word in general, colloquially speaking, we don't, as a collective. I'm gonna fuck this up at some point. As a collective, we don't mean someone with mental deficiencies when we collectively, as a herd of people, use the word stupid.
Yeah.
Use the word stupid.
And saying things like the N-word is a good shorthand to say, I'm recognizing, even though we're talking about this word in a certain context, I'm recognizing that it is not an okay thing to say.
Yeah, and I think it's fine to grow on that subject, and I hope you do too as well, because I don't know. It's just, I don't feel like deleting any videos like that. I think it's good kind of for posterity to say like, hey, that's who you used to be. Look at us advocating against those people that we are, but in the future. And like using that as an example of personal growth. It's not like we were ever like the worst people in the world. And I stand by a lot of what we said over the years because a lot of it still rings true. Like, there's religious abuses and we've always fought for LGBT rights and stuff like that. But definitely insensitivity, I think, is a thing that we've grown to get kind of over and at least for the most part, and understand that, like, we're trying to have like kind of a different feel, kind of a different in our own lives and hopefully in our community.
Dick Girl TM. Damn, it's trademarked and everything.
Fuck.
Dear Hugo and Jake, what sort of interest, if any, would you have in a YouTube trade union?
So this went around for a little bit. I think there's a lawsuit. It might have got shot down. It might still be going on. I have no idea. But,
sure.
So they were talking about unionizing YouTubers. How do you feel about that? There's lots of implications.
Ideally, that'd be great, but I think that'd be a little bit like herding cats, and that there's like, there's so many YouTubers. How do you do that? And YouTubers are also effectively contractors, so I don't even understand how that would necessarily...
It would change the designation.
I suppose, but then aren't you technically employed? And under employment, there are a lot of different things.
I would opt out personally because they would want to. They would.
YouTube would shut down monetizing channels freely before they'd allow employment of content creators outside of YouTube Red.
Yeah, so I don't think it's viable for this specific platform.
I think it'd be great though.
I do think it'd be like I don't think you'll be hard pressed to find me not be for unions. No. I'm not necessarily for always having everything be like a co-op, which is different. But I've talked about this in the past. I used a bakery as an example because it's a small business that we can all kind of visualize. The baker, the person that actually owns the business and does the most, probably makes sense that they get paid a little bit more than the employees they hire, right? Not like an obscene amount, but it makes sense, right?
Sure. You
could make an argument that maybe they can co-op at a certain point, and sure, fine. But I do agree that it makes sense for those 3 employees to have a union.
Sure.
So with their employer to make sure that they're, compensated fairly and make sure their hours are copacetic and whatever's going on there. I'm sure they have more than 3 employees at every bakery, but still, just something like that. It makes a lot of sense. And so, I from a personal point of view, I think a union would be great. From a business perspective, I don't think they'd ever allow it. And not because I mean allow it in that I don't think we'd be monetized if we did have a union, which would lose all the power anyway because they already control that, right?
Maybe, unless it was something like Screen Actors Guild where there's pretty specific requirements for being in the union. For instance, it would have to be on a subscriber basis or an average monthly views basis. I don't know.
I don't
know. If someone has a viable plan, I'd love to hear it and be involved, but I don't know.
Yeah. Well, there's a lawsuit going on right now that is basically just what you wait for at this point. But yeah, I guess if it showed up, it feels like it'd be more like a network.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Where you opt into a thing and then they collectively bargain on your behalf.
Yeah.
But I still feel like there would be more stringent rules involved because to collectively bargain, you have to give and take. So it's I don't know if the benefit outweighed the cost. I just couldn't say fuck. I'll censor myself. I'll edit that out of the video. I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
But if it's stuff like you can't talk about religion in general, obviously we can't, or wouldn't want to, or you can't badmouth Israel, or you can't talk about evolution, or you can't talk about the president or politics. That stuff I'm not going to agree to.
Yeah.
It just I don't know what the parameters would be. If they're reasonable parameters, I have no problem being in a YouTube union at all.
Yeah. Avotian Dear Lady Hugo, fairest in the land, first of her name, slayer of bitches, and Sentinel Jake, protector of the realm, herald of the Corn Lord, guardian of the multicolored gates, I must needs be remarked that you have done remarkably in cultivating a following the likes of which is the most accepting and dare I say progressive. Pray thee answer my inquiries as to thine own opinion as to how it was accomplished, and why so many otherwise marginalized groups of individuals are drawn to your ways. Wow, I really got carried away with that. I even justified all the titles in my own head. I stand by it. I hope it made smiles happen.
It did.
Okay.
Thanks, Avosh.
Are we? I don't know if we have the most progressive audience, but
Not
we have a pretty progressive audience.
We
I'd
definitely
say.
have a very inclusive audience and one that supports each other. I see this on Twitch and I see it in our YouTube comments, and just kind of on Twitter and just interacting with you guys in the Discord. I don't know that specifically we've done anything on purpose to promote that. Like, it's not like we advertise like, come here, gays, we like you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Even though we do. It's pretty. I just think passively over time you understand that, like, we support people of marginalized positions, depending, like, kind of regardless of where they come from, and it just, it's sort of a by osmosis thing. It sort of comes out of the content. We don't really talk about it a lot.
Yeah.
Like, I did one trans charity and we raised a good amount of money, and that was fun. And like, we did the we've done some gay rights stuff in the past. We went to Pride and yelled at a preacher. I mean, obviously you came up, but that was later, right? Like, that was well after we did that, and no one knew. And so, like, I don't know. I just think it's, as a creator, I think it's important to not let the people who pay you money decide your morality.
Yeah.
And I have very openly several times said, if you give me $1 and you think you're going to be able to inform my politics, you're fucking wrong, and you should go give your dollar to somebody else that works on. Like, Dave Rubin is certainly purchasable. So go on over there and give him your $1. I'm totally fine with that. That said, I would absolutely love if you gave me your $1 with no expectations behind that besides supporting us, whatever Patreon stuff you get for that, or if it's a donation or whatever, just supporting us and liking the content and wanting to throw a bone our way because, god damn it, you like what's going on, and that's great, and we appreciate you, but by no means does that give you any leeway over anything. It doesn't make you our friends necessarily, although we are friendly with lots of people. Like, it doesn't purchase you like real estate, like on an emotional level or a business level or a political level. Like, it's just a nice thing that you do for people that we occasionally ask for support, and you occasionally give it, and it's absolutely great, and I love you guys for it. And as far as the rest of the inclusivity, I think it's because, I mean, it's not hard to just support people. I don't know. It seems a lot harder to spend all my effort like punching down.
Yeah. Game say, dear Awesome and Jake, who was also awesome, was it specifically the mean comments that pushed you to come out? Because that would make me sad. I hope it was something in the works for a while. Love, a very long time fan. That was definitely part of it. I don't know.
You've been going through a process, from my perspective, for kind of a long time.
Yeah, and
like 4 or 5 years, probably longer in your life. But I mean, like, from what I can see, like it was truly a transition, like, kind of as a person in general, not just like coming to grips and being out, but like literally, like, you changed as a person. We just talked about it, like how you've grown. So,
I was planning to come out around that time anyway. I don't know if I was planning to do it particularly in that way on Twitter necessarily. We did, of course...
Oh, you mean publicly, not to us.
We did, of course, do the video afterward, but initially, if anyone didn't see it, came out on Twitter and just like, hey, some people are making some hurtful comments. I get it, but at the same time, this is what's going on. Please don't do that. And a lot of the comments there were things like, "Hey, you look better with the beard," whatever. Which, if I were, not trans, would be fairly innocuous. Though I still think it's kind of rude to comment on someone's looks and stuff like that.
Sure.
Like, I understand parasocial relationships, but at the end of the day, I don't know you necessarily. So strangers being like, "Hey, ugly, you look better this way," it's not great.
Yeah. And we had so many conversations about that beard leading up to it.
Yeah.
And obviously now I have context for that, but before I was like, well, if you want to do it, just do it. It looks good when you do it, and that's fine. But it was obviously very dysphoric for you.
Yeah, not a fan.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But anyway, it was more the last straw that I was just reading comments that day, and I was like, I just need to be honest. So I was, and that's what happened. Maybe not the happiest of circumstances necessarily,
Sure.
but I'm a lot calmer and happier now that I've come out to everyone. So
A lot of people have noticed. A lot
Yeah.
of people have said that you seem more, not just more happy, but like comfortable, I think is the word. And I think that's great. We had talked behind closed doors for a while, thinking like, okay, so when you want to come out, like you could do a video alone. I could be there with you. We could do an ask. You can just make a video announcing it. You don't have to. We can keep it under wraps. Like we had a lot of conversations about like whatever was going on. Ultimately, it was your decision, and I didn't know you were going to do that on Twitter when it happened. It's not like you called me up or texted me and was like, "Hey, it was just time for you," and I thought that was great. And then, of course, we come out and support, and like everything else is history. I don't know, how had it been like a year?
almost at least
Man.
9 months.
It did not feel that long looking back at it, but yeah, it's been good. And so now you got your titty skittles and
Spirolactone.
Spiro.
Yeah.
And so how long is that process? I mean, it's forever, but like before you take further, like I guess what's the next step?
That's a good question. I need to talk to my doctors more about it. Right now, I'm focusing on aspects of social transition in terms of like I need to go buy new clothes. I need to. Now, again, when I say need, these are things that I am personally saying I feel I would like to do.
Right. For the record, no one needs to pass or have expectations, but you feel the need.
Right now, I'm just taking the medications. I'm working on trying to be better at makeup. I personally am trying to lose some weight because, like, regardless of my gender, I'm overweight, and I want to be healthier. I started doing some voice training with someone who's helping me out. Fortunately, the last session got canceled. She was sick, but I'm going to reschedule. So that's what I'm focused on right now. At some point, I would move forward with some potential surgical options, but like that's a while down the road. The medications themselves, the hormone replacement treatment, takes about 2 years from start to finish in terms of like when you're going to see the most results. 2 years is usually the line. So.
Well, cool. So 2 years from now, when they're combined.
See, that's the thing. I don't know. My doctor did this thing that I don't know if other doctors do, but she was of the opinion that if you start people on estrogen and Spiro at the same time, she has seen in her practice people get more conical breasts, whereas she thinks that if you start on the estrogen for a little bit and then once you see some breast growth, then you get on the Spiro, which is T blockers, that you get better results. And they
like natural speaking, like okay.
And they just started me on T blockers like a couple of weeks ago. So I don't know. I don't know when would be considered the 2-year mark.
So like 1 or 2 years.
Yeah, I don't know.
Nice. Well, that's good. You were pretty excited when that happened, and I was excited for you, so that was good. I don't know. I think that's it. That's the last question. Anything else?
Yeah, that's it.
Good.
All right. So that is all. You can always follow us on Twitter at PopBirdJake.
You can follow H at HUGO Reloaded for now. Did you see if that was available? I didn't.
I did.
Or it doesn't have to necessarily be reloaded, but
yeah, I'll look. I don't know.
Okay. And you could also subscribe to the channel and do the goobly doop thing with the bell, and I don't know if it works, if it matters.
Patreon, also in the description if you want to help support the show, or my breasts.
Ooh.
You're like a sports bra but financial.
Yeah. To be clear, we're not promising you pictures.
No.
Of these things or
Go back to Butternips. That was a couple years ago.
Technically
the same boobs.
Mm-hmm.
Think about how weird it is that you just like fleshy fat, you weirdo.
It's the same boobies. They're just like they're in their undeveloped stage, which I think is technically ebophilia. Anyway, I love you guys. Do whatever you want to do. I don't know. Go. You think they should go outside or stay inside today?
I always vote inside because the outside is scary.
Then I vote inside as well. Stay inside and just watch this video again.
Make some tacos with American cheese and tell me how it is. Especially
send me pictures of your and send us pictures of your American cheese tacos.
If you happen to be Hispanic and have like an authentic Hispanic family with like a grandmother who was like,
and you could offend them.
Go
culturally?
And take it to her, and I want to see what her reaction is.
All right. Hey, by the way, this white ass YouTuber makes tacos like this. Give me your opinion. Take a bite and give me your fucking just give me your opinion, right? Is this a crime? That's what I want to know. It might be a hate crime. American cheese on a taco, that might be a hate crime.
All right.
Anyway, have a good night or day or I don't know what it's